The road was long and winding, stretching out endlessly in the dim light of the crescent moon. My hands gripped the steering wheel tightly as I drove through the thick fog that clung to the asphalt. I was exhausted, having just finished a grueling 14-hour shift at my job. The radio had stopped working hours ago, leaving me alone with my thoughts and the occasional hum of the engine. I glanced at the clock on the dashboard. 2:07 a.m. I should have been home by now, but the fog and my slowed reactions had delayed me considerably. Every now and then, I thought I saw something moving in the mist, only to realize it was a trick of the light, or at least that's what I told myself. My eyes were growing heavy, and I knew I needed to stay awake. I fumbled for the thermos of coffee on the passenger seat, taking a long swig of the lukewarm liquid. It did little to help, but it was better than nothing. I turned my attention back to the road, squinting through the haze. That's when I saw it, figure standing in the middle of the road. I slammed on the brakes, the car skidding to a halt just inches from the figure. My heart pounded in my chest as I peered through the windshield. It was a woman, dressed in a flowing white gown, her hair hanging in wet strands over her face. She didn't move, didn't react to the car that had nearly run her over. Something deep within me pleaded against rolling down the windows. The woman remained silent, her head slowly turning to face me. I felt a chill run down my spine as her eyes met mine, empty, soulless eyes that seemed to bore into my very soul. Panic surged through me. I shifted the car into reverse, intending to turn around and find another route home. As I backed up, the woman remained motionless, her eyes piercing into mine. I shivered and finally managed to turn the car around, speeding off into the fog. My heart was racing, my mind struggling to comprehend what I had just seen. I drove for what felt like hours, but the fog never seemed to lift. The road became narrower, the trees on either side closing in, their gnarled branches reaching out like skeletal hands. I could feel my anxiety mounting, every shadow and movement in the fog taking on a sinister quality. I checked the clock again. 3 a.m. Time seemed to have lost all meaning. That's when I saw her again, the same woman standing in the road. This time I didn't slow down, swerving to avoid her, but as I passed, I saw those eyes once more, empty and hollow. I pressed down harder on the accelerator, desperate to escape this nightmare. The road twisted and turned, leading me deeper into the woods. I could barely see a few feet ahead, the fog thickening with every mile. My headlights flickered and I cursed under my breath, praying they wouldn't go out completely. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. Something was out there in the darkness, waiting for me. Suddenly, the car sputtered and lurched, the engine dying. The car coasted to a stop, crashing into a tree. I tried the ignition again, but it was no use. The car was dead. Frustrated, I banged my fist on the steering wheel and looked around for any sign of help. The road was deserted, the forest silent except for the distant hoot of an owl. My own ragged breathing echoed in the stillness. The trees seemed to close in around me, their branches reaching out like grasping hands. It was my wife. I immediately answered the call, but all I heard was some weird noises. Hello? Hello? I lowered my phone to see if the call was still active when the noise was still there, right next to my ear. It was not coming from the phone. Something was right behind me, in the car, making those sounds. I turned my head slowly. I groggily opened my eyes to see a policeman outside the car, knocking at my window. Am I still alive? I wondered. I got out of my car, still crashed into the tree, and noticed 48 missed calls from my wife. Morale of the story. Drunk driving poses significant dangers as it impairs judgment, coordination, and reaction times, leading to a higher risk of accident. Alcohol affects the brain's ability to process information, increasing the likelihood of potential hallucinations, inability to make sound decisions, reckless behavior, and fatal crashes.